Hey, and a very warm welcome to the Into the LightWeb podcast with me, your hostess, Joanna Hunter, metaphysical teacher, spiritual life and business coach, published author, and the high priestess of the LightWeb, a spiritual technology that will change your life. This is the place to be to talk everything under the LightWeb, from consciousness, relationships, to money, to spiritual business, and everything in between. Hi, it's Joanna Hunter here for the Into the LightWeb podcast, and I am joined by one of my gorgeous clients, Janu. Janu, come and say hi and come and introduce yourself to everyone and tell people what it is that you do in the world.
Hi, hello everyone. I'm Janu Mahtani and I'm a healer, Akashic Records healer, Lightbringer, also a life coach and Lightbringer coach. And my purpose is to just help people bring or recognize the light in them, just wake up that soul wisdom in them, so they live a soul-aligned life and more purposeful, less stress. And that's what I like to do, is just to help people shine their own light and find their own light.
Amazing, amazing. And whereabouts are you in the world?
Oh, I'm in Spain, Canary Islands, sunny Canary Islands.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So tell us a little bit about your journey that you've been on yourself. Like, how did you end up as a healer? Because I believe that you sort of came from the corporate world. Was that right?
Completely. I was like more than 20 years in corporate world, and I used to change a lot of companies because I didn't feel aligned, or there came a time in each company where I felt I didn't belong there anymore and I needed a change. And in the last one, I was there for like 10 years, but inside of that, I went through different departments. And there came a time when I knew like that wasn't my place. And it wasn't just this slight voice. It was like a big shout from my soul. I used to be very, like, Sunday nights would be like really heavy feeling about going to work the next day. I felt I wasn't helping my clients. I wasn't being truthful to my values with my clients. I couldn't do what I wanted. And I had to, for example, sell some things, even if I felt that person wasn't the proper thing for them. So when that soul shouting became so loud, I knew I had to leave. And then my healing started, because first, before leaving, I had to start healing my belief that I couldn't do without a fixed income each month. So
that's
my
huge.
father, yeah.
There's a couple of things I want to dial back on there and talk about. I really want to talk about, I think so many people listening to this that maybe are in a corporate job can really, really resonate with having to do things that feel like icky and maybe like a little bit against their values, and realizing that, you know, I'm not maybe doing the biggest favors to these people that are like the clients of the company and stuff like that. Tell us a little bit about what that was like navigating that, because that's a tough gig. I mean, I've spoken to many women who are in the corporate world and stuff like that, and I know that this is a very pervasive problem within that world. You know, it's a world of like all about the sales, all about, and it's a bit like a machine that kind of bulldozes over the top of people. And you are definitely what I would call a highly sensitive person. So how do you, like, as a highly sensitive person, what was happening in your life? Was it taking you down really low, or what was going on with you at that point?
It was taking me really, really low. And what happened was, whenever like an elderly person came, not really elderly, but 60, 70, I would always see them as my parents. And I wanted to treat them as I would like my parents to be treated in the same circumstance. So that even made it worse. So it was like, oh no, I'm not going to do this to them, because I wouldn't want anybody to do that to my parents. And the same thing with young people, like thinking of my younger sister or my husband's daughter. like, because she had a problem. And I said, no, I don't want to do that to someone else. And at home, it really, really brought me down. I had like this stress that didn't let me enjoy the baby years of my son, that I still carry that hurt a bit. I'm still healing about that, because I really, when I came home, I was like without energy, without wanting to do anything. And it really affected my personal life. And Sundays, like I say, Sundays night would be like crying like a small baby. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to work. So it was really tough. It was really tough.
How did you get over it? Because I am really interested in this part of the story. How did you get over this idea of like, because having spoke to many corporate women, they have exactly the same problem. They're not gelling with the corporate environment, but that bloody fixed income, right? Because it's so intrinsically tied to our survival, right? And we have this idea like, we won't survive without this. Like, we are going to be screwed if we don't have this, you know? So how did you get to that place of like moving beyond that fear? Because that's all it is, really. I mean, like, look at you, you're still here, right? And you're thriving. So here's the thing, like, it's just that fear. But how did you move past that?
Okay, so what I did, because my father is an entrepreneur since since always, and my sister took up the business also, so she's an entrepreneur, and I was like the fixed income girl. And I used to think, like, I don't know how they do it without knowing how much they're going to earn every month. I would never be able to do that. I was that kind of, you know, woman, never. I need to know how much I will earn each month. I need my savings, because I'm a bit of hoarding.
An accumulator.
Yeah. And I need to know I have this, my safe space, you know, all it should be controlled. So then when I started realizing I couldn't continue in the corporate world, before leaving 1-2 years before, I started working on healing my abundance blocks. So what I went, it was a program where we talked about this ingrained beliefs that we will never earn more, that whatever we have is fixed and it won't grow, you know, all those beliefs. Yeah. And it was, I was working through that. And then one day I realized I wasn't so afraid of not having my whole income. So then this idea came, okay, maybe I can start reducing my timings and I can work half time and half the salary and half the time. So I said, okay, let's start like that. You know, it was gradual. So
beautiful. I mean, that's so in alignment with Skylar's teachings of the law of increments, right? Like you took a bite size and was like, instead of having, I think this is the fear that people do is, you know, we can make it simpler for ourselves. And it's just that giving ourselves permission to break it down into bite size instead of like throwing the baby out with the bathwater and being like all or nothing. You know, we don't have to be like that. That all or nothing is incredibly hard on our nervous systems. So this was a beautiful way of kind of doing it segmented and in steps.
Yes, exactly. And I wasn't able, the thing is, I wasn't able to see this option till I didn't start healing my abundance blocks. Because for me, it was like you say, it's all or nothing. So it was like, I need to go. So it's, I earn this much and then I go, I don't earn anything, like fixed. So when I started to heal my abundance, then I started to see this option. So it's incredible. I was surprised at myself. I said, how come I didn't see this before? But we are so blocked and looking like this. And you say we are with this fear that if I leave means I won't have anything. And we can't even think clearly. We can't even see the options out there. And when I saw this option, I was like, okay, this is good. So I can take this and wait till I have the right moment comes when I can leave, like, you know, with a good payback. I'm not going to leave the company. I've been so many years there without anything. So I'll wait and let them do that, and working on my beliefs, working on my visualizations, how I would like things to go. Okay, let them tell me I have to go, so then they have to pay me a little bit so I can be more relaxed and I can have this cushion of savings till I make something, because I didn't even know what I wanted to do when I left. It was so bad.
Amazing.
I just knew I had to
how
leave.
did you go from not knowing what you wanted to do to being an Akashic record reader, to being a fully fledged Lightbringer, to like all of the things that you do now? How did you make that switch? Tell us a bit about that journey.
Oh, that's a very good question, because it took me, when I finally left the company, it took me like 2 years to just heal. I knew I like to work with kids. I used to do like volunteering work with kids. And when I left, they offered me to do extracurricular activity at my kids' school, like relaxing and something like that for the kids. So I was like, yes, yes, yes. But after a year, not even a year, 5-6 months, because the pandemic came, I realized that wasn't really what I wanted to do. Like I couldn't work with a class full of kids because I couldn't get their full attention. Some would be really interested and some wouldn't be interested. So nobody gained there. And I'm also, at home we are a foster family. So I had foster kids at that time. I had 2 foster kids at home, 2-year-olds. And I realized I preferred to work one-on-one on the kids like that. Like, okay, I have a kid at home. I work on their well-being, soul connection, and, giving them the love, the base, so they grow up as healthy adults, loving adults and all. So then I said, okay, I started going, okay, this is not the path. Let me try this one. And when the kids went, just end of 2020, I started healing because lots of things came up. They were truly agents of the universe. They triggered me so much. And when they went, I started looking at all those triggers. Okay, why did I get triggered here? Let me heal this. Why did, the process of forgiving myself, of making peace with all that situation, I started healing myself. And through that healing, after 1 year since they were gone, one day I had this feeling, a fear of my son. I got like a download. Okay, this is something to do with past lives. And they showed me what had happened. And I told my husband, okay, I have this information, but I don't know what to do with it. I have no idea. He's the one who can go into past lives. So I said, okay, I'll give you the information. You see what you do with it. And just, I think it was 1 month or less, and your opportunity came up to learn the Akashic Records. So it was like...
Was that the first thing that you jumped into in my world?
Yes, yes. I had done the free master classes.
The certification program of the Akashic Records.
Yes. And it was
How
because...
did you... I mean, I love that it's like a month later. So you get this kind of like download and it's to do with past lives. And then a month later, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And tell us about that journey of jumping in. Were you nervous jumping in? Because obviously you must have probably not known me very well at that point.
Yeah, I knew you from a few master classes.
Okay.
But I didn't really know like the proper one-on-one or like the deep sessions, deep courses. And my sister is also a Akashic Record healer, but she studied somewhere else. She's in the US. So I knew a bit about that. And she had told me 6 months before, you can do the same thing that I'm doing. I said, no way, no way. I don't have that intuition. It's impossible. So I think that's why Source showed me I can have a glimpse of a past lifetime. And then when I said, I don't know what to do with it, you appeared to show me what to do when I get that information. So the journey was really curious.
I gotta stop you there, Janu, because I cannot even imagine you without intuition. Like I'm finding it really hard to like wrap my brain around because you are so intuitive. And it's weird to think of you not with that.
It's incredible how I've grown in intuition since I started the Akashic Records. It's incredible. I remember how nervous I was when we did the first cases, when we used to do the classes, and I hadn't done LightWeb or any intuition course before. So it was like, okay, I knew I could receive because of this. I think they had shown me this information before, so I could trust a bit, but I didn't know how to do it. But then as the practice went, each time I realized I was like, oh, receiving more information. And like you always say, just trust what comes, trust what comes. So I used to trust and give. And I think it was like when you build up a muscle, like working
of course, yes,
each time, trusting a bit more.
And it gets stronger and stronger, right? And I'm like, my mind's boggled because I honestly have not heard this part of the story. So I didn't realize that you literally jumped into the deep end of the pool when you jumped into the Akashic Records. But I mean, you swam in that course. You swam in that course, you know, like you really flowed with the information. It was amazing to see you working with other students and everything that came up. Since you were in at the deep end, how did you find the course? Did you feel supported within that container and everything and learning the Akashic Records?
What I loved most about that was when you, I think the second day, you told us, okay, just go to your records. Just go. You took us into a deep meditation and you said, let your soul go to the records. And we went and then we shared our experience and you said, see, you knew how to go. Your soul knows how to go. I just tell you how I do it. So then you can do your sessions. So that showing us that we can go before showing us how to do it mentally, like the process, that was game-changing for me, because that really gave me the confidence that my soul knows. And I can do the process with the meditation. I can learn this. I can do like some things I change when I do my sessions from how you showed us. But it's because I have that reassurance that you told us we know how to go. And it's just a process and we don't have to imitate you. We can do it our own way. So that helped me let my intuition, if I felt that instead of seeing a door, I want to see, we go through the books. So I go through the books. So, but it was all because you gave us that confidence in the first 1 or 2 days. I can't remember exactly when it was, but it was like, your soul knows how to reach. And that it's one of the group courses I do, is just showing people that their soul knows how to go to the Akashic Records, because I love that so much.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And but that wasn't the end of the journey there at all. I feel like that was just the beginning, because then you dove deeper into my world. And what unfolded next?
See, I think it was like nearly 1.5 years when last November, well, 1 year when you offered the opportunity to go on a retreat with you. So that was my soul, like, yes, 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 I need to be there. And it was something so strong. I was jumping at home, so happy. And I told my husband, I need to go here. And that was, I don't know if May or something, it was like 6 months before. And I was like, I need to be there. And he said, okay, if you want to go, you go. And I was, yeah, yes, yes. And I remember I booked my spot. And then you did the presentation and you said some people have jumped in before even listening to the presentation or what the retreat is going. So I was one of those, because I knew I had to be there. And it was something like, I don't know why, I just know I have to be there. And like you always say, calibrate, calibrate. So I said, I'm going to be with her 3 days in her energy. I know there's a reason behind.
I think that was the first thing that you said to me when you arrived. I'm here to calibrate. Like, I'm here to calibrate to your energy, to the group's energy. Like, I'm here to calibrate. And I mean, oh my goodness, I can't even believe how much we packed into our retreat because we had such a special time and it was amazing. And all of the ladies that were at the retreat were just amazing. But you had a massive challenge when you arrived because there was a little luggage oopsie.
Yeah,
So
that's the universe playing with me and my faith and my trust. Yeah, I remember going out and saying, okay, if I forget something, it's okay. I know like I'll be home there. Everything will be taken care. And then I reach Gatwick and my luggage didn't arrive. And I had packed this big suitcase coming from sunny Canary Islands, going to Highlands. I need to pack all my thick clothes, jackets and different kinds of boots and all. And nothing arrived. I didn't even have the proper jacket on me because I had packed that. And then I remember, like, I said, okay, universe, I said, I don't mind if I forget something. So it's now like, okay, forget everything. And everything was taken care of so beautifully by you and Jen. It was like amazing. And it was, you know, that was the confirmation that the universe provides. And if you just trust, everything will unfold. And
yeah, because
you don't need all these fancy things.
My gorgeous assistant Jen out and she went and shopped, and by the time you arrived there was like new clothes and everything for you.
Everything. The 2-3 days I was dressed by Jen.
Exactly. But we started it all and it was really good. So I love that because I really felt like even for us as well, that was like, you know how like they do on these like cheesy corporate retreats, they do the trust fall. I think that was like our version of the trust fall, but instead we were just going to trust that the whole thing was just going to flow. And you know, and it did. And Jen went out shopping, and by the time you arrived there was like clothes and pajamas and like all the things, and you know, and everything fitted perfectly as well. So it was just like this like total trust fall of just trusting that everything was going to be okay, and it was. And for you, I know that, you know, because any woman missing their luggage, it's not a fun experience. Right.
Especially when you have those special things, you know, that special jacket that will be warm, which I cannot use here.
Yes.
Finally, I'm going to get to use it. No, universe said
oh my
no.
goodness. So
because that retreat, like we said, how did I jump in deeply with you after that? It was because I really calibrated in that retreat. And when I came back and you started offering the 100 program, I was, no, I don't want to see. No. I'm not even going to read about it. The investment is going to be too high. I wasn't even in LightWeb. So imagine that lack consciousness I had. No. And the 100, it was like, no, I don't even want to see. And suddenly I think you wrote or you said something like, don't you want to be part of something bigger? And that just lighted up something in me. It was like, and I remember sitting in meditation and feeling my guides telling me, are you really going to miss this opportunity? Are you going to really miss being one of the 100? And it was like my soul waking up more, even more, to its true purpose, to saying, yeah, you are made for more. Oh, yes, it was amazing. And imagine from not wanting or not going into LightWeb to going full into the 100. It's like, but that was
for anyone listening and they're wondering like, what is the 100? The 100 is where you get all of my programs, but ultimately what we teach is what we call here unity consciousness. You as a unified being of source energy while you're in human form. It is a complete body, mind, and spirit healing, but it's also more than that, because it is a waking up of your own soul's purpose and stepping deeper into a spiritual business and stepping deeper into your like soul mission and all of the things. So it's just something that I'm so proud of, and I'm so proud that you're part of the 100, because the 100 is it stands for something, you know. It's a standard within the spiritual community, and you have just shone your light so powerfully in that group and stepped into that, and your journey's been amazing. What was it like when you first and finally got to LightWeb? Because that's one of our like big teachings in our world. What was LightWeb like for you?
So LightWeb happened just before I entered the 100. So I had to wait now till March. Yes. So it was like, okay, now that I'm finally in, I was eager.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't even explain in words the shift that happened to me after entering the 100. It was like, okay, now I'm in, now I'm full in, from not wanting to full in. So it was amazing. It was amazing. It was a reconfirmation of my intuition. Like since I had done the Akashic Records, I work as an Akashic Records healer, and I knew my intuition was growing and growing and growing. And LightWeb gave me those like higher tools to connect daily, to clean my energy, to bring back my energy, to connect to source. And it's just given me even more confidence, even more intuition. And I think it's like I'm growing, my soul is growing, it's waking up. More than growing, it's like my soul is each day is like waking up.
I call it the remembrance.
Yes.
Like it's remembering itself again, and remembering the wisdom that's already in there, and remembering how powerful it is. And as it remembers how powerful it is, you remember how powerful you are. I love that. And I mean, LightWeb is, I mean, I'm very blunt with LightWeb. It's probably the weirdest and most extraordinary course that I teach, because it is so game changing for a person. And it's such a mix, because it's empowerment, a personal empowerment. It is your intuition skyrocketing. It's your ability to manifest skyrocketing. But then there's like this, whatever stuff life throws at you, you kind of have that safety of knowing there's a tool in LightWeb to deal with it.
Yes. And I know that in my journey, for example, for some reason, I get the knowledge before, or the experience, and then I get the knowledge. Like it happened in the Akashic Records. So I got the information from past life, and then I went into, I think, and with LightWeb, it happened the same. I used to do some work that when I went into LightWeb, I said, oh, I'm doing something similar, or my coaching sessions, my healing sessions have something of this. But I think it's because Source knows that if I don't experience before, I won't absorb as much. It's like, okay, now I know what she's talking about, so I can absorb more eagerly. And I understand fully. It helps me grow. So I have this kind of strange relationship, that first experience, then the knowledge. And like,
I love that.
To know that
what you're doing is okay. Does it. It's the perfect teacher for all of us. Like it knows, like Source does something very similar with me, because I'm a give me the whole road and let me decide whether I want to walk down there. And sometimes it won't give me the whole road, because obviously the road grows us, but it'll give me little samples of what's going to be on that road. And then it makes me eager to walk down that road.
Exactly. And it's the way to also trust my intuition, because it's like, okay, you knew this before, now you are just growing into it. So it helps. I think that's helped me a lot also with my intuition. Like, okay, I got the message before, now this is the confirmation. So it means I'm listening, I'm opening up, I'm receiving messages. So like you said, when I went into Akashic Records, I didn't trust my intuition at all. And 2 years later, I'm like full in.
I love it.
I fully channel my sessions. I love it, because I don't even have to prepare my sessions. I know I just prepare my energy. I don't prepare the session. I prepare my energy to be able to channel. And I love that way of working. I just love it.
And let's talk about your clients a little bit, because your testimonials, and every time that you have done one of our like certification program, your testimonials have been like insane. People have been like, oh my God, this was like so beautiful and it was so incredible and stuff. From somebody that literally was not working with their intuition like 2 years ago to someone like producing, and like people are feeling these genuine, heartfelt, in their soul shifts in the way that in all of the things that you've learned with us and everything that you've applied and all of the other beautiful modals that you've learned and brought into your world. Tell us a little bit what it feels like when you're working with these clients, knowing the world that you once came from, that corporate world, and now doing this work that is just like soul explosions inside. You know, it feels so amazing.
It's awesome. It's an incredible feeling, and especially because I don't even consider it work. It's like, it's so beautiful. And like, because I don't have to, like now, since already 1 year, I trust so much my intuition, and I trust so much, not only my intuition, but my capacity to channel the sessions, that I'm not even in that worry before the session. And I just sit down to come, to connect to source, and I just ask for the best session ever for the client. That's what I do before each session. I always connect and I say, I just ask from my records to bring the best session for the client that's coming, and with co-creation with their guides. And then I just let myself flow with the questions, with the healing that I need to do, whatever, and seeing when they do the aha moments, or when they say, oh, this shifted me completely, I didn't even know this was there. It's like, wow. But I know it's not me. I know I'm just channeling. So that's even more beautiful.
It's a messenger, because like when I do this work myself, like for me, yes, it's coming through me. But I'm humble enough to say, listen, this is not all this. This is something bigger coming through us. And for me, it is this ultimate way of, in a way, praising the divine, of like working with a person, connecting them with their divine spark, which happens to also be my divine spark, and bringing that together. And it does create such a beautiful session. And I absolutely have no problem sharing the credit with the big U, because it is just, you know, what they pull through. And one of the things that the way that obviously we do the healing sessions and stuff like that is that means that no two healing sessions ever look the same. They may have a similar format, but they don't look like, they're so wildly different, and they differ from client to client to client, which is really gorgeous, because you get a session as unique as your client.
That's awesome. And after doing Akashic Records, I had this session with my cousin, and the session that unfolded as an Akashic record, it was awesome, because it was more like a coaching session, but where I wasn't doing the questions, I was just channeling the questions. It was the first time I really experienced the questions coming through me, like what to ask to guide the other person into what they needed to know. So that gave me like such a huge moment of, wow, what has just happened. And I know it's because the other person was also prepared, you know, to go by themselves. So this happened through me, and I was amazed. After that, I did life coaching certification. And now with Lightbringer, it's like bringing the two things together. It's like the coaching, I was already coaching people, but now bringing the coaching with the energy. And the few sessions I have done since last week, they've been amazing. I can feel the difference in my coaching, and my clients feel the difference just in the change of the way we question and we track the energy. My clients are amazed. And
the tracking the energy is like, it's probably one of my favorite tools in Lightbringer, is like learning, because a lot of people work with the surface layer of people's issues and problems. You know, they come and they say, well, I'm blocked with money. And the funny thing is, blocked with money is very rarely a block to do with money. It's usually something to do with some other part of their life or being. And so when we track the energy and we get right down to the root cause, we're not healing the surface. The surface heals itself because we heal the root, and then it filters up to the surface. And it's amazing to see how like fast somebody's energy can shift in that way of working.
Yeah, exactly. The other day, one of my clients, I've been with her a few months already, and she said, I want to work in my abundance. The same example you just gave. And I started tracking, and we ended up healing the impatience, the time, because she was like, everything has to be now, or I leave it and do something else. And by the end of the session, she was like, wow, but I asked you to work on abundance. She was still like, and I said, but you know what? If we didn't heal your impatience, your need to do everything fast now, and we went deeper to know that also. It was like, but it's more like a personal issue, but we got into why she needed to do everything now. I said, if we don't heal that, you won't make better decisions for your abundance, because you let go opportunities.
I can see how connected that is, because abundance is a source energy. Source plays the long game. The void is the short game, the instant gratification. Let's do it now, quick, get rich quick schemes, all those things, right? Like, and of course that leads to disappointment and lack, right? It's like, for me, it's just so, and I can see how powerful that was, of how obviously where the energy tracked, and so amazing. And it's funny, isn't it? Because it can take us to the strangest places, like time, for instance. Who would have thought that time had really anything to really do with abundance so much? But apparently everything, because that was the thing that was preventing her from making good decisions.
Exactly. She wanted to do something, but if they told her you have to wait 6 months, she was ready to say no. And I said, but why? If that's what you want. So it's really, really interesting. And the healing went deep down to her fear of dying young or not having enough time in this lifetime. So it was like a really deep healing. And once she realized, I have time. So if I have time, I can wait 6 months. And we are talking of 6 months. We're not talking of 6 years. But she was so incapable of even waiting that time. So it's really powerful when we can go down to the root.
Yeah, that makes all the difference, because it means like we're not like, because what happens is if we heal the surface, the root's still alive. So it kind of like, it's like living energy. So it kind of just pops up a new head somewhere else. And then we're like dealing with the same problem, but in a different incarnation. It's a different look. It looks different on the surface, but guess what? It's that same issue underneath it all. And it's just incredible. I have loved being on this journey with you and seeing you really, really blossom into this very powerful healer, this very powerful coach that you are, and the transformations that you have made in your life. And I want to touch on something, and I hope this is okay to touch on this, but you are not really a stranger to the self-development world, right? Because you have been to the Mind Valley Awesome Fest and everything like that, because that's actually a connection for you. So is that okay to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. Well, so I haven't been in the AFest, but in the Mind Valley University.
Right.
But my sister went to an AFest because our cousin is Vishen Lakiani, the founder of Mind Valley. So our mothers are sisters. And he's the person I did that session with Akashic Records because he's a person who needs to experiment everything before bringing it to his clients, to the community. So,
and I had no idea that your connection with him, because I've been a Mind Valley student for like a couple of years, I think. So.
Wow. Yeah, it's like, how does universe bring us together?
Absolutely, like really, really cool. It was so cool to hear that. And I found out on the retreat, and I was like, oh my God, you know, like that's so crazy of how we come together.
Yes, and I remember last summer, I wrote to you a private message in Messenger that I had worked through my witch wounds. I remember because I had some block and I couldn't talk to you in a live. You wanted me to, I hadn't seen. And you told me, don't worry, it could be a witch wound. So that night I started working with my own Akashic Records. And like 1 month later, I ended up talking in Mind Valley University in front of 100 people. And I wrote to you like, I made it. That fear of invisibility, I was able to shatter. You gave me the tip where to look for, and I was able to shatter and go in front and do lives on my own now, which 1 year before I wasn't able to do. So
I know that was a huge moment of getting up on that stage, speaking for Mind Valley and speaking as a teacher and teaching. And I mean, that was such a powerful.
And the topic also, because it was the soul's plans and group of souls. So it was also a topic that really resonated with me, but I didn't know how many people would be interested in that. So it's like when your energy is right, when you want to give, the people just get attracted to you. So even if in my lives I'm not so many people come, because it's not the same as being in an environment where there are so many people and it's one-on-one. But I really feel that Mind Valley's university experience also has shifted me, and I've learned a lot from them. I've been a member of Mind Valley for like 10 years or more, because my son was small when I started. And it all started because about the work problem. I knew I had to do something with my life, and I started changing in small shifts through their courses. And like he also goes into bringing education to people and making the world a better place. So yes, that runs in the family.
I've always loved that ethos, you know, the ethos of Mind Valley, and it's something, and I definitely see that it runs in the family, because your sister also does the records, and you know, and it's beautiful to see you know, that it does, and it's just so special. In you know, and it's almost like your family have come in with this massive soul mission of really bringing so much light to this world. I think it's so special.
Thank you.
So yeah, oh my goodness. Well, I'm tearing up in this conversation because it's just beautiful, and that's what it's all about. It's about raising that vibration of the universe and our planet really, and within the universe, and connecting people with the light that is already within them, connecting them to their, as you call it, your soul's wisdom.
Yes.
You know, and I love that. Tell people, Janu, where is that they can find you on the internet? Like, where can they find you if they want to book a session with you, or if they want to, like, what's the best place to go and look? And you work both in English and Spanish. Yes. So let's just put that out there. You work both in English and Spanish. And if they want to have one of these extraordinary sessions with you, how can they do that?
Okay, to book a session, the best place is my webpage, www.oursoulswisdom.com. And then connecting personally in Facebook, same, Our Soul's Wisdom. But yeah, all my information of the sessions I do and more, my story, how I came from corporate world, all of that is in my webpage, oursoulswisdom.com.
Amazing.
Because Our Soul's Wisdom is like, everything is inside of us.
It's just, already all there.
Just bringing it forward.
Be Magic Insight 4. You're a microcosm of quantum entanglement. It's already all within you. And it's so true, right? So true. It's all there for us just to access. And unfortunately, when we were born, it didn't come with a manual. Like we had to kind of do the human thing for a while, and then we return back to that spirit that we are, that soul that we are. And that's, you know, that's where me and you come in, and your beautiful family come in, and helping people to wake up within them own self of that beautiful wisdom that's there.
Yeah.
Oh, I have just, my heart feels so full right now because I have just loved this conversation.
Thank you.
If anyone is listening to this, Janu, and they're sitting thinking maybe they've got issues, problems, maybe they're in the same situation that you were, they're very much an earlier version of you, stuck in their corporate job, it sucks. They're high anxiety every Sunday, feeling really teary, feeling like, God, I got to go back on Monday, like it's soul crushing. Or somebody who's facing issues or problems and things like that. What would your kind of words be of wisdom to them of going down a spiritual route to create, you know, because we don't always think of, like, when we have these problems, we try and find like real world solutions, and we don't always first off right out of the gate think, maybe I'll find a spiritual solution here. And of course, like, it is going to be a spiritual solution that's going to give you the long-term, you know, change. But what would you say to someone that's like maybe sat there on the fence and wondering, maybe a spiritual solution is for me?
The first thing is to know that I believe we choose our own experiences on earth. So the way to overcome them, like once we've experienced, once we are tired of it, it's going back to our own self, to spirituality. So learning to tap into our soul, or to tap into our higher self, as we want to call it, into source, it's the best way to find the way home. Like, what came to me in the beginning of all my problems was I wasn't born, or life can't be about stress and hustle and this. Life has to be about something more. And then as my evolution went, as my healing went, it was like, of course, I came to experience something. I'm a soul, I came to experience, but enough is enough. When I'm tired, I can change and go into my real self. So spirituality will bring that connection to who we truly are, which is love and light and a part of source. So we can live that kind of life on earth, on our daily life. We can have that sense of connections, that sense of peace, that sense of, I came here for something more. And that way, spirituality is what will give us that.
I want to back up to something that you said there, Janu. When you're tired of like the life part, right? I don't think I've ever heard it put in that way, but it's so true, right? Like, you're so over the BS. Like, I say many times, sometimes on my posts, of like, big shift point for me was when I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, but I was tired of life. I was tired of the way that my life was. It wasn't that I was over living, but I was over living in the way that I was living. And I think that is going to resonate with so many people. And of course, that's when you go inward, because you go home, right? Like you turn inward and you go back to the essence of who you are.
And I always say,
I love the way you put that. I adore the way you put that.
Thank you. Because I always, like, the example I give is, we are like actors in a play, and our life is the play. When we are tired of the play, we can just move out, or just remember we are actors and we are there, but we are not that character. So just that shift of knowing, okay, I'm doing this play, I'm this character, but I'm not him or her. I'm something more
than that.
I have more wisdom. That gives us a
and letting it go. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank and so coming and talking to us on the podcast. And thank you so much. I really appreciate this. My soul feels all tingly and full of light just from this conversation, and I'm so grateful. So thank you so much. And it's been a pleasure to be on this journey with you, and to see you blossom in the way that you have. It's been just like so amazing.
Thank you so much for unfolding this journey for me, for guiding me. and for having me here today to inspire more people, to bring more light to other people.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.